Yes, story is that of the acting CS that has been appointed to Treasury. Of course, the Standard is going with that. It tells us more CSs face arrest as Uhuru picks Ukur. Now we are being told that the president's appointment of Yattani as acting Treasury CS has been a stopgap measure, and this is cutting across. We have the Nation leading with that story as well as the Business Daily. Now joining me for the discussion today is Honorable Anthony Oluoch of Madari. Welcome to the show, Honorable.
Thank you.
Now, let's start with this story. It's also on the Daily Nation. The headline is Uhuru's surprise wild card. Do you think it's indeed a wild card?
Yes and no. I think President Uhuru Kenyatta was looking at his cabinet and trying to see who is the best pair of hands.
Yes.
Remember that this replacement is stopgap. It is temporary. It allows the president then to look around whether he wants to get a substantive office holder from his own cabinet.
Yeah.
If he does, then he has to go through the process of appointment, bring them to parliament so that parliamentarians can be able to give him the nod of approval. If not, he has to look outside, he has to comb around and see who is the best person placed to take over the Treasury. And remember, Treasury is a very sensitive ministry, and that's the reason why just barely 48 hours after the arrest they had to put somebody. We've just gone through the budget cycle and their processes. The financial year is in place, and things have to move on. The exchequer has to function. We have lots of debt issues to balance, bilateral relations and contracts and obligations. So it means then that the investor confidence is pegged on the stability of the ship at the Treasury. It is actually the engine of our economic driver, so that if there is a gap there, it would cause a lot of upheavals. You will have the stock market reacting. So that informed, I think, the decision and the quick manner in which he did it. I haven't looked quite at his CV, but I'm told that he's a graduate of economics in Egerton University, so he does have a background.
Yes.
Remember also he's been a governor before, so in terms of management and managing resources that were sent to the county, I think the presumption must be made.
And speaking to that, the Daily Nation is telling us that economist Ukur Yattani plucked from the humble labor docket and thrust into the melting chamber of National Treasury, which has claimed a minister and his deputy. Did the Treasury claim these two, or the corruption allegations?
I don't think you can say it claimed them as such. I think the president has been trying to fight corruption for a while. Treasury was bound to be the engine of all this, and we'll come to that discussion. And yes, it does go to a hot seat.
Yes,
it does go, and I'm sure he's aware of this. He's one among maybe 6, 7, or 8 ministers have gone through this in the last 15 or 20 years. So he must be aware that is a place where he's going, and it's a very, very hot seat.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this is going to what you said, the shilling did tank a bit after that the CS Rotich was arrested, just to show you how sensitive this particular docket is, and that clearly, as you are saying, there was need for a replacement, and actually it reacted positively after he was replaced.
And I think also the choice of Ukur Yattani was also a safe choice, because remember, there are people who've tried to cast these in tribal lenses, and I think the president was trying to avoid that by not replacing Rotich, who comes from one region, with somebody maybe from another populous tribe, which would then have ignited discussions along tribal lines. So I think he played safe. He said get somebody from the non-dominant tribes to replace,
and therefore that excuse or that accusation becomes moot altogether, because there's no basis for it. Now let's take a look at something else that's making headlines, or the top page of the Standard, whereby we're being told resign now, Sudi tells Uhuru over division. Now political divorce, Kapsaret MP says political marriage between the president and his deputy is irretrievably broken, and that Ruto no longer has Uhuru's ear. What do you feel about this one?
I don't know. I really am not competent to discuss about the two. they certainly haven't come out themselves and said that the marriage is broken.
Is broken, yes.
There's been tension. I mean, the body language from what we used to see, the frequent press conferences together,
yes,
the matching ties and the matching shirts and the folded.
The bromance.
Yes, the bromance is not there. But that's not to say that the marriage is broken as such. And I think Oscar Sudi has become more like the person who troubleshoots and fires on behalf of that side of the divide. And I think the frustrations, I think, are understandable.
Yeah.
But I hope we don't spend a lot of time focusing on this, because then we will lose the main reason why we went this direction and the fact that we need to fight this. And from what I can hear and can tell, that it's not going to stop at this. There are more arrests. I've seen somewhere where they're saying they're going to go for other ministers. It's not really about tribe. Corruption is just individual. When you do it as a person. And I'm very happy from some of the social media things I've seen. People in that region refuse to go out and demonstrate because of allegedly the former chair of the one of the boards related to this dam issue that was dismissed, and they refused to go. And listening to people speaking, they are more concerned about where did the money go and why don't we have the dam,
actually,
rather than the issues about we have been targeted. So all this buzz in the social media really doesn't reflect much
and I think
on the ground itself.
On some level, people do get tired and they want to see the real tangible results of where the taxpayers' money is going, or at least prosecutions, as we will be going to be talking about in our next